my God, guys, I actually need coffee because that was a flipping snooze fest. An absolute snooze fest. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you are new here. Oh, man. Where do we even start, guys? Firstly, what did you guys think of that game? What did you guys think of that game? Because I'm not going to lie, that first half, I actually nearly fell asleep. The second half woke me up a little bit more, but there were certain things of the game that just didn't sit well with me. I don't know how Garnacho survived another 90 minutes. He was absolutely horrendous. And I can put it down to him being young, but equally with saying that he cost us so many attacking moments is actually ridiculous. Marcus Rashford can't play another 90 minutes. He gets taken off at the 70th minute. What else? The officiating. The referee just took the sting out of the game. Every time the game kind of gained some momentum, the referee, poor calls. And most of the time it was against Manchester United. I don't know if you lot realize, a lot of the calls that I feel like were poor calls were going against Manchester United every single time. Ugarte, for me, looked interesting. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Bruno. We're going to talk about Højlund as well. And we're going to talk about Joshua Zirkzee. But for me, man of the match, Nazir Mazraoui, man. £12.8 million. That's probably the best bargain. Proper bargain. What a player. Honestly, what a player. Playing on the left-hand side now as a left back, and he was getting forward, darting forward, providing overlaps to Garnacho that he was never using, but he was providing overlaps to him, and defending very well. I really feel like, guys, this is a bit of a hot take, but I feel like had Chelsea utilized Pedro Neto just slightly a bit more, I think it would have been a bit different for Chelsea. I feel like anytime Pedro Neto had the ball, I was a bit worried. Madueke barely got on the ball, which was all down to Mazraoui. I feel like the Lit had a good game as well. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. Ridwan says it's just annoying, constant stupid decisions. Honestly, stupid decisions every single time from the ref. You lot are going in on Garnacho. Garnacho cost us 3 open chances. Garnacho and Bruno cost us that. Yusuf says sell Garnacho this summer. Big up to Riri in the chat, says Garnacho can't play 90 minutes. I don't know how he's played another 90 minutes in a row. Like, that's what I don't get that. And for me, guys, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. You should not be accommodating Garnacho by playing Marcus Rashford out of position. I don't care. I actually don't care how bad Marcus Rashford can be. Play him in his best position. Simple as that. Because Garnacho doesn't want to play on the right, we have to play him on the left. No. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I saw Ahmad coming on, I thought he was coming on for Garnacho. How many times has that happened the last couple of games where we see Ahmad coming on, or we see a winger coming on, and we assume that it's for Garnacho, and yet Garnacho still plays? But we're gonna get into that as well. Bervin says, "Hey Mina, Garnacho's decision making is horrible. Do you put it down to his decision making just being bad and he's a greedy player, or do you put it down to the lack of football IQ and that he's a young player?" Because I'm not gonna lie, he's how old? 19, 20? I watched Lamine Yamal put an assist on a plate for Dani Olmo today. On a plate. It's not about age. I think it's just about you. If you are choosing to make these decisions, it's nothing to do with your age. It's not to do with your IQ. It's simply because you are choosing to make those decisions. And today, he's so greedy. Garnacho is greedy. He's a greedy guy. I'm going to be so honest. When he was on the right-hand side, I'm not going to lie, he was barely in the game. And I liked it like that. Second, he went out to the left. A lot of things were going through him, and he was just being absolutely greedy. Like, that's the only way I can describe it, greedy. And I don't like that. I just don't like that. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. We've got over 100 new subscribers over the weekend. So if you're new here, welcome to the community. And yeah, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and obviously you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by helping me reach the goal for super chats for the stream. Or if you want to just show some love, do something simple and just hit the like button. Big up to Fat4 says, considering we are capable of getting smashed at home, I'll take this point, but the attack needs to improve. Listen, we got 9 goals in 10 games. Do you know how, that is so bad, guys. That is so bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was happy for Bruno to score today. Like, you saw in his celebration, even though it was a penalty, you saw in his celebration how much it meant to him to get that goal, because that's his first Premier League goal, by the way, of the campaign this season. You saw how much it meant to him. But this front line, guys, is so dross. Like, where are the goals going to come from? I'm watching Højlund and Fofana fighting half the time. I'm watching Rashford playing deep and just passing. I'm watching Garnacho shoot from everywhere that he possibly can. Joshua Zirkzee, yeah, that chance that Joshua Zirkzee had, the little flick on from Bruno, I knew he was getting away from Fofana. Fofana actually gave him a head start. And to be honest, when Zirkzee came on, I felt like that was Ruud van Nistelrooy settling for the draw. I'm gonna be so honest. I feel like if United were still going for the win, they would have kept Højlund on and brought on Joshua Zirkzee. But when I saw Zirkzee coming on for Højlund, I definitely felt like it was going for the draw. And, like in the grand scheme of things, I feel like a draw is not the worst thing, because you look at how we felt coming into the game a week ago. Like a week ago, the mood in the fan base, was completely different ahead of the Chelsea game. Like people were dreading this game. But today, I feel like in the grand scheme of if we take everything into consideration, it's not the worst result. However, Man United should be, especially a Chelsea team, to me, that like away from home, I don't think like today's performance is a true symbol of what they've been this season in comparison to how they are at home. But Nicholas Jackson nullified in the game. De Ligt did a great job. I feel like United should have went for the 3 points, guys. I don't really understand why Højlund got taken off. The way Højlund celebrated winning that penalty is the attitude you need on the pitch. It's not just that, but for me, it's like Zirkzee's not that type of goal scorer. And you know what? Actually, let's start with Joshua Zirkzee. Well, I was gonna get to him, but you know what? We might as well start with Joshua Zirkzee. The thing that bothers me a little bit about Joshua Zirkzee, it's not really like his style of play or his profile. What bothers me about Joshua Zirkzee is, for a guy who's meant to be so technical and good on the ball, I feel like he takes too much touches, guys. Like when he should take extra touches, he doesn't, and he rushes it. And when he shouldn't take a lot of touches, he does. And it's about finding that balance for me. In the Premier League, this is not the Italian league. You are not going to get time and space on the ball. And I feel like he underestimates that. I feel like as this 9.5, whatever you want to call it, this guy that drops into the midfield spaces, them midfield spaces, you are not going to get a chance to breathe on the ball. Why are you so different to anyone else that plays in that position? Do you think opponents are going to give you time and space to make your decision? No. I feel like he takes too long. And on the flip side, if I talk about Højlund today, I felt like Højlund was taking quite a lot of touches before releasing the ball or not releasing the ball. But one thing I liked about Højlund today in particular is towards certain parts of the game, he started doing that whole wrestling nonsense. Yeah, he started doing that whole fighting Fofana thing. But throughout a few passages of the game, I really felt like Højlund was dropping deep, linking up well, passing well, etc., etc. Now, I would have preferred Joshua Zirkzee to come on and Højlund stays on. That's what I would have preferred. I feel like when we're putting Zirkzee on by himself a lot of the time, we're expecting him to do stuff that is not in his kind of locker from what I feel like what a traditional striker would do. And what he can do, we're not playing to that. So really, how are you really going to benefit from having a player like Joshua Zirkzee? I think Joshua Zirkzee will come good. I think he's a good player. But for me, it's like the profile that he is, United need to play in a way that kind of allows him to showcase those talents. Because right now, we're getting him to do a graveyard shift up top. We are actually getting him to do a graveyard. Like, we're asking him to make runs in behind. Why? Why are we asking him to make runs in behind? Let me see what you lot are saying. It'll take a while for Zirkzee to come good. Italian league allows you time. Yeah, basically, pretty much. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Like, the Premier League is not like that. But I think in due time, he will get to that. Zirkzee still needs to adapt to everything. We've had top players who took over half of a year to adapt in the past. We have guys who have played here for years and they're still so ass. Damn. Uthman says, feels like a pylon and I can't back him. And we only had like 10 plus minutes and our striker who offers us nothing gets a blind because he celebrates a pen. BS. Yahya says, can we send Zirkzee to the championship, let him develop there and bring in Gyökeres? Do you guys genuinely think United are getting him? No, I don't think United are. I do not think United are getting him. Let's talk about this guy though. Oh, this is way too zoomed in. Oh my god, it's hurting my eyes. I don't even know which player this is. I zoomed in way too much. There you go. Let's talk Manuel Ugarte, guys. Let's talk Manuel Ugarte. Came off. And this is why I think watching you can look at the data part of the game, but also watch the game. I felt like, and I said this going into the game, guys. I said a team that's got Caicedo and Lavia in the middle, you need to be on your A game as a midfielder of the opposition, i.e. Manchester United. Man United midfield had to be on their A game. This is what made me laugh so much. He won 2 out of 12 ground duels today. Gave the ball away 11 times. Possession lost 11 times, and he won 2 out of 12 ground duels. And he won 0 aerial duels, but he only had 1 in that instance. Now, if you think back to, I think the biggest moment in the game that he had, which was a kind of clear run towards the goal, and I don't know why he went to go for the shot, because he had Garnacho to his left. He had Højlund in front of him, which I think would have been a difficult pass to make. But just slightly out to the right, he had Rashford. And he decided to go for goal. Now, you're not known to be a goal scorer. You're not even known for, your amazing passing, let alone ball striking ability. So I just, again, similar to Garnacho, I feel like some players in the team just make some weird decisions during the game. And I don't know if it's because it's the heat of the moment, but that is what separates the good players from the average players, is the decision making. Now, I was watching Cole Palmer today, and in particular, the first half, I felt like Man United were giving Cole Palmer a lot of space to collect the ball and giving him time to travel with the ball. Like, I don't know if you lot realize, every time he was picking up the ball in the little pockets of space behind the winger, whether it's on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, he had time to get the ball and progress it forward and dribble with it. Now, that is because Cole Palmer, I think his decision-making is quite good. The weight of his passes are very good. It's very unlikely, I think, and a simple pass, I think it's very unlikely that a player like Cole Palmer will, be dispossessed. I don't think he will give the ball away. I think, he always puts the right weight on passes because of that's, he's got the ability to do so, but also he makes the right passes. Ugarte, I don't think, is known for his passing. But with saying that, you cannot play in the middle of the midfield if you're not a good passer. To get dispossessed 11 times. Now listen to this, guys. Listen to this stat. I lost the stat. But he basically gave the ball away a lot today. He gave the ball away a lot. And for me, if you are known to be this destroyer, because that's what we were, this is the idea of Ugarte that we were told when he came into Manchester United, that Man United are getting a destroyer. So if you are a destroyer, what are you destroying exactly if you're winning 2 out of 12 duels? Because whatever it is you're destroying is very much still standing. As I see it, if we look up that Chelsea midfield, they're dead. Listen, Caicedo for me was man of the match. And I was saying this the other day. I said Caicedo's having a great season. Enzo, that guy's a fraud. That guy's crap. But I think Caicedo for me, he did pretty well. Now he was getting quite a few calls, and again, for me, that's not down to Caicedo. I'm questioning the ref for some of the calls that he was getting, because it really wasn't anything that I felt like was worth giving. Ugarte is an enigma. He has the fight but lacks the basics. As a midfielder, you should be able to pass, tackle, dictate the game. This guy can't pass, can tackle but not consistent, can't dictate. You see, yeah, he could do something but not consistent. He can't do something, but sometimes he might be able to do it. Because I look at Ugarte and I think this guy can't pass, but then I saw him ping a pass across a diagonal pass across to Rashford. But you can't pass 10 yards without making a stupid pass. Big up to Koala in the chat. Koala, it's been a minute, man. I hope you're doing well. Big up, Koala. Caicedo is so steady, man. He doesn't wow anyone, but does his job to a top level. And you know what? Sometimes it's the simple stuff. Like, if people are not going to players like Caicedo, I think, will not get their flowers because they don't. It's not like breaking news kind of stuff that they're doing. They're just doing simple stuff. Even Lavia, guys. Lavia in the first half was picking up the ball from Caicedo. They're playing one-touch football, and Lavia is progressing the ball forward. Cole Palmer, from what I understood, was dropping into the little pockets, between the winger and the fullback to kind of get involved in the game a bit deeper down the pitch. And it was working in the first half. And that's what I just didn't understand. I was thinking, why is United giving him, particularly Cole Palmer, so much space? Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. JJ says, I think that's the issue with many of the players. Simple things evade them. Would you say that goes down to decision making? Because obviously, like, a part of me is curious to know what the game would have been like if Erik ten Hag was still the manager. Like, am I the only person that's really curious? Because I was thinking about it during the game. I was thinking, what would this have been right now had Erik ten Hag not got sacked? What would I have been watching? Because I don't think it was a wow performance. But equally, I don't think Chelsea really wowed themselves from what, the way that Chelsea fans were saying, no, Ten Hag got sacked before it was our turn. And then they put in this type of performance. Nicholas Jackson, for me, I forgot he was playing. I actually forgot he was playing at sometimes. Stu says, Ugarte will improve. He's got something there. I mean, like, yeah, I think for me, what stands out for Ugarte in this game is just, yes, he's not getting consistent football. I think this is his first Premier League start in like a couple of Premier League games. So I understand that part. But sometimes, guys, I don't know. I'm worried that Shakira said the hips don't lie. I feel like the eyes don't lie. And I'm worried that what we're seeing, what you see is what you get. Everybody is saying be patient. And I absolutely agree. Be patient. Judge a player once they've played consistently for like 10 weeks or so. But I'm like, what if it's the eyes don't lie? And what we're seeing is what we're getting. And we're going to continue to see that. His mistakes were shocking. I mean, for me, giving the ball away 11 times, losing possession 11 times, committing 6 fouls, and only winning 2 out of 12 ground duels, for me, that is questionable. That is absolutely questionable. But let's actually talk about let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about something positive for a minute. Nazir Mazraoui, yeah? Best fullback on the pitch. None of this Reece James thing, none of this Malo Gusto, Diogo. Nazir Mazraoui comes to work and does his job and goes home. £12.8 million Manchester United going for. One of the most cheapest players in this squad right now, guys. You know what? Fun fact, Tyrell Malacia costs more than him. Amad Diallo cost more than him. Yeah, I said this after the Fulham game, his debut. I said this guy's gonna be Man United's best player this season, and people were saying to me, "Don't be too reactionary." I remember arguing with KG about whether Mazraoui's better than Dalot. Today, 63 touches, 92% pass completion, 81 duels won, 100% dribbles completed. He ain't even a winger. He's not even a forward, and he completed 100% of his dribbles. And it's not just the stats, guys, because I know, I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I know you lot agree that Mazraoui today was phenomenal for Manchester United. Not just that, Diogo Dalot is now playing in his more natural position at right back. So now Mazraoui is playing out of position, and he absolutely bossed it. You know what he did a lot that actually stood out for me that I noticed? Because I was thinking, why is it they were really trying to force the ball down Manchester United's side, Mazraoui's side, but it wasn't working. He was inverting against Madueke and a lot, which sometimes Madueke can't hold his run, so he might end up drifting offside, or Cole Palmer will switch the play to Pedro Neto. The second half, I think it was like the 80th minute, maybe 75th minute, when that guy, Mudryk, came on, Neto switched to Mazraoui's side. Neto, for me, was a threat during the game. I actually felt threatened by him. Yeah, whenever the ball was on his side, when he was on Diogo Dalot's side. When he came over to Mazraoui's side, I didn't hear from him again. I actually did not hear of Pedro Neto again. And for me, that just shows you players like Nazir Mazraoui, they've got a technical ceiling, but also they've got the intelligence. Well, you know what actually pissed me off, and I don't want to mention it until we get to the Garnacho topic, but there was a possession of play for Manchester United on the break. Garnacho has about 4 or 3 players around him, and Mazraoui is bursting on the overlap, literally. And he just lets him run past, doesn't play him in, then turns around and then goes back. So Mazraoui was also equally like actively getting involved in it. Leads by example. I agree. He'd be leading by example, and that's what you want from your players. Like in a time like this when people are attributing toxicity to the squad, you just want someone that comes to work, does their job, can get their little praise, and keep it moving. Big up to Koala with the super chat. What does the sticker say? It says vibes. It says vibes. Big up to Koala. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. The through ball to Ahmad was open too. Hey, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that. So does Martinez. I thought VAR was going to overturn the on-field decision. The Martinez thing is an interesting one because in real time, it didn't look like to me it was a red card. When you watch it back in slow motion, obviously watching things in slow motion, it kind of deceives the kind of gameplay a little bit. But I feel what saved Leak Chart, I feel like what saved him from a red card possibly because of VAR was he was like, he didn't go in with full intent, studs showing. Like, it's like, does that make sense? If I can find a picture of it, I'm going to bring it up on the screen. But he didn't go in with full intent, studs showing. And he is lucky. I actually think he is very, very lucky to get away with that, honestly. Mazraoui got a good mentality. These kind of ballers come up the tough way and play with their hearts on their sleeves, not like the privileged bums. I told guys Mazraoui would bench Dallo. This guy locked down Garnacho, Dembele, Saka last season, and it wasn't even news. I remember watching that game at the Emirates, Bayern Munich versus Arsenal. For me, Mazraoui's always been a good player. I liked him from Ajax when he was leaving Ajax on a free. I really wanted United to get him then. I think they ended up going for Wan-Bissaka around that time. So unfortunately, you know, it didn't really lead to nothing. But I'm glad to see him here. And, you know, for me, he's so good. Like, he's just so good. And it's not just that, he's good on the ball. You know what? Yeah, I feel like we say some players are good on the ball, but they're not really. He's one of the players that I feel like is genuinely he's good on the ball. And defensively, he reads the game very well as a defender. So I hope he continues to kind of perform at this level. And at the moment, I don't really mind him at left back. I prefer him at right back. I don't mind him at left back. Let's see who's next. This is what pissed me off, guys. This pissed me off so much. I'm sure you guys remember this part of the game. This was horrific. I thought he was going to play the pass immediately. I genuinely thought Garnacho, at this point of the game, was going to play the pass immediately to Ahmad. It was literally shouting pass. I was literally saying, release it. He did not release it. I was livid. And for me, it's just decisions like this that for me separate decent players and good players. Like, I feel like people actually underestimate how important decision making is as an ability. I think people focus too much on the physical part of the game and your ability to shoot and, you know, pace, and people don't talk about decision making, because I think decision making is what is the difference between a decent player and a great player or a good player. And for me, Garnacho has not developed his decision making. I actually think he's regressed. I genuinely think he has regressed, especially this season. Now, I don't know if he's been instructed to shoot as much as he's shooting, but today he won 1 out of 9 duels. Yeah, 1 out of 9 duels. He won 1 ground duel out of 6, and he won 0 aerial duels. I don't know why long balls are going to him from Anana, but that's just my opinion. Like, I don't know why that's going to him. He had 1 successful dribble. 1 successful dribble. Are you kidding me? For somebody who in the second half, I felt like had the ball a lot. Like, I feel like in the second half, a lot of what United were doing was going through him. To have 1 successful dribble is bad. It's bad. He had 2 shots on goal. I don't even know what they did. None of them led to anything. And I think the volley was over, which is a good strike. The rest was just non-threatening. And for me, my biggest issue with Garnacho right now this season is just that. it's his decision making. It's his decision making. And I'm sorry, and I said this all the time. People who I don't want to hear this stuff about comparing Cristiano Ronaldo or young Cristiano Ronaldo to Garnacho. I said this ages ago. Stop those comparisons. It's not remotely the same. They are not remotely the same. It's actually an insult to a young Cristiano Ronaldo, I think, to insult him, to compare him to Garnacho. Now, last season, I felt like with Garnacho, he was playing too much. This season, I feel like he's playing too much. I said this at the beginning of the stream. Why is Manchester United's coaching staff, accommodating for him and playing people out of position who are better than him? I don't really get it. Garnacho not even on a young Nani. Don't disrespect. Listen, Nani's my guy. Now, we deserve this. Match-going fans are feeding into the ego of this kid. He's horrendous and they think he's CR7. He's no better than the player from 3rd division in Greece. Now, I think that's harsh. In his first season, he was fearless. But that's because he was coming off the bench. Do you not remember his first season? He wasn't playing as much as maybe he is playing right now. So when he came on in games, we looked to him to make an impact because he's coming off the bench. Once or twice he did deliver. But ever since he's become a starter in the team, we have to look at the inconsistency in his performance. Let's look at we can look at stats this season, but stats I don't think covers the entirety of what the season is. Now, this season so far, 6 goals, 4 assists in 15 games, or 16 games, if we're including today's game. 16 games, 6 goals and 4 assists. But if we're talking about the Premier League, guys, because let's talk about the Premier League. He's got 2 goals and an assist in 10 games. How is that phenomenal? How is that world class? How? We could talk. Obviously, EFL Cup, Community Shield, he bagged goals. But let's talk about specifically the Premier League, because that is where I think you see the consistent the evolution of a player is in the Premier League, because that is where you're playing predominantly most of your football in the season. Big up to Paul, says quality analysis. Mina, you're asking all the right questions about the player, and you're right about Mazraoui too. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. This Garnacho hit is a bit over the top. This club shouldn't be relying on a 21-year-old as a starting winger. I feel like Man United brought it on themselves, because you look at the fact that United spent how much? 70 million on Sancho? How much did we spend on Sancho? About 70 million, right? 80 million. We spent about 85 million pounds on Anthony. And neither of them are starting for the team. So in a way, I do feel like the club brought this on themselves, because you've spent so much money on wingers that are not even starting in the team. So now you have young players having to bear the brunt. But my kind of criticism is the biggest criticism I have for Garnacho is his decision making. That is my biggest criticism. I feel like his decision making leads to like greed. But equally with saying that, I blame the coaching staff for playing him on the left and accommodating him and playing other people out of position. You play your best players in their best positions. Unfortunately, Garnacho is not one of Man United's best players. So you shouldn't make a decision for him by, impacting other people. Do you guys get what I'm saying? For example, if Marcus Rashford, for example. Marcus Rashford, I think there's something going on that we're not aware of, because the guy hasn't played in 90 minutes since Liverpool. He has not played a full 90 minutes since Liverpool. He's actually only played 2 90s this season. And every game, he's hooked 60th minute, or today, 70th minute. I genuinely think that there is something going on with Rashford. Is he carrying a knock or something? Because equally with saying that, he's playing in a deeper position. Today, he had to get back often, and sometimes he wasn't. That was the problem. And the Chelsea fullbacks were providing support. So sometimes when he was out on the left in particular, Mazraoui was being doubled up on. He wasn't tracking Malo Gusto and Madueke. Mazraoui had to kind of focus on him. And then when he switched over to the right, he did track back sometimes against Cucurella, but also Cucurella left him at some points of the game. So I look at that and I think, why is Marcus Rashford playing like that? You know, this is a guy, by the way, that free kick on the edge of the box, I don't know why he didn't take it. Bruno, I can't remember. Does Bruno ever get the ball over the wall? Like, genuine question, guys. Does he ever get the ball over the wall? I was fuming when he didn't pass to Ahmad. We're just talking about that now, just right here, in case you guys missed it. You look at this and you think, Reece James ain't gonna... I don't know. I looked at that moment and I thought, Reece James is not gonna stretch his leg out. Because he's not gonna want to pull up cramped or anything. He's not gonna... If you put the right weight on a pass, which is, for me, this is what differentiates Garnacho from players like Cole Palmer. And you lot, it's not me comparing him to Cole Palmer, but I'm saying this is what makes young players like Cole Palmer so good, because of their decision making. Cole Palmer in this position right here, is playing the pass. And not only is he playing the pass, it's going to be perfectly weighted in the path of Ahmad. Ahmad's going to be off and he will get a chance on goal, right? But you're telling me that you think that here, the right thing for you to do is keep running. That's what you think the right thing for you to do is. And the funny thing is, guys, this moment right here is not even the part that annoyed me the most about Garnacho. For me, there was a chance on the edge of the box where there's like 3 players around him, and instead of using the overlap from Mazraoui, he decides to try shoot, but he gets blocked, and then he turns around. Mazraoui's coming back from an offside position, and he goes all the way back. That's it. Like that is it. I don't know. Looking at him this season, let's have a look quickly. I don't know how he's played a 90. Oh my god, guys, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Garnacho has played 90 minutes in a row in the Premier League so far, and you know how many he scored in them? 1. The Brentford game. 6 Premier League games in a row, he's played 90 minutes, going as far back as Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is his first 90-minute game that he played. Since then, he's played 6 games in a row, 90 minutes, and has scored 1 goal. That is embarrassing. We can go as far back and talk about the Fenerbahce game, where he played 90. But I realized the games that he has the most impact in is the games that he doesn't play a full 90. And did you guys see this guy here? Where is he? This guy here was pissed. Did you guys see the particular passage of play that I'm talking about when when Garnacho doesn't use the overlap from Mazraoui, gives the ball away, and they get on a break, and Casemiro basically has to run back and drag Neto down. Casemiro was going ballistic. He was going ballistic at Garnacho, and I'm so glad. I thought he was shouting at the ref. I don't know. I hope he was shouting at Garnacho. Forget the ref. Well, how could you shout at the ref? You literally brought the guy down. I thought he was shouting at Garnacho, but even if he wasn't, someone should. Someone needs to hold players accountable on the pitch. And I'm not saying create a toxic atmosphere between the players, but you need to hold each other accountable for this nonsense. Because this is really the difference between walking away with 1 point versus walking away with 3 points. Roy Keane on Bruno saying he apologized to Erik ten Hag after his dismissal. It's a bit late. Bruno didn't do enough as a Manchester. What is Keane on about? He was shouting at Garnacho. That I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was shouting at Garnacho because he deserves it. He deserves it. And everybody should have shouted at him. Because had Chelsea managed to get away with that and continue down, and Casemiro didn't get back in time, it could have been a completely different story. And also, I think Pedro Neto was one of Chelsea's more electric wingers out of the two of them, out of Madueke and Neto, and that was really the only time that I can remember him doing something on the right. But Garnacho was lucky that did not lead to nothing. And players like Casemiro, for me, has every right to hold players like Garnacho and just everyone accountable. Because if Bruno if the captain ain't gonna shout at his teammates for nonsense, let the most senior person do it in the team. I fully believe rude decision-making cost us the game. Whoever wants him to stay as a manager is insane. Why do you think that? Why do you think Rude's decision-making? I feel like Rude was settling for the draw. I might be wrong, and maybe I will see what he says after the game, but I do feel like Ruud van Nistelrooy might have just gone for the draw. Bringing on Lindelof in DM you know, that in itself, I'm like, okay, cool. But bringing on Zirkzee and taking off Højlund, if you are going for the goal, you're going to want two strikers on the pitch. I think you'd want two strikers on the pitch if you're going for a goal. Man United's front line, guys, are not scoring. They are not scoring. Like, when are we really going to acknowledge it? When are we really going to acknowledge it that Man United's front line does not score goals? And with saying that, we got 9 goals in 10 Premier League games, right? And that is inflated because we scored 3 in 1. Where does the goals come from? Like, genuinely speaking, guys, let's have an honest discussion about this. Where do the goals come from? Because for me, today, I liked how Højlund started in the game. I like the way that Højlund started in the game. But as the first half went on, I just felt like he got caught up in this physical battle with Fofana. And I feel like when he steps away from the principles and the basics of the game, he just starts doing this tackle stuff. Like, they're wrestling each other to the ground and whatnot. Now, previously, when he came back from injury, and I'm speaking about Højlund, by the way, when Højlund came back from injury, he was dropping into the pockets and passing well, linking up, and then, you know, bursting through the middle. He didn't really do a lot of that today. And I genuinely thought he was going to do that. The penalty that he won, he won it very, very well. Took a great touch around the keeper. And for me, Sanchez is just like I said this, as long as Sanchez is in goal, I had faith that United would get a goal. As long as, like, do you guys see the crosses and the set pieces, the way he claims it? He comes out and he does like a diving punch every single time. Every single time he does a diving punch. But on the topic of Højlund, I felt like as the game went on, he kind of started to lose his principles of what he was doing early in the game. And that for me is what is the difference between strikers. Just, you know, you see Solanke today. I'm sure you guys all watched the Spurs game. You guys saw what Solanke did, right? Solanke, a striker in Ange's system, I think, should, like, especially this season when I'm looking at Ange Postecoglou's system, the striker don't get a lot of touches. Is not involved in link up, but what they do is get in the box. And what's Solanke doing? He's making them runs in. Kulusevski finds him for a great pass. Second one, he's bursting into the box. Richarlison finds him, another good finish. Man United strikers do not play like that. They don't play like nines, and that is why you can feel it on the stats. You can feel it, the fact that United are scoring 9 goals in 10 Premier League games. You got Garnacho shooting from everywhere, Rashford just not shooting. And I feel like Højlund today would have benefited not coming off, but rather have another player with him up top. Because let's be honest, guys, Colwill and Fofana are not that great. Like, let's be honest, they're better than the other defenders that Chelsea have, Disasi and Badashili. They are better than them. But I feel like they were there for the taking if the opportunities land to them. Mina, no service to them with the likes of Garnacho. I mean, this is the thing why I'm really interested to see how Garnacho gets on in Amorim's system. Because I said I said already, I don't know where Garnacho is going to play in Amorim's system. Because outside of shooting, which he does a lot, he can't cross. And that's why I don't know why he plays out wide so much. I understand he plays out wide because, you know, he drifts in to shoot. But aside from that, he cannot cross the ball. He cannot cross the ball. Like, let's be honest. That's one of his weaknesses alongside his decision-making. Højlund is not getting any service. The Garnacho cross towards the end of the game with no one in the box. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Højlund stays playing WWE, sometimes unnecessary. So Zirkzee needs that WWE spirit in him. He needs a bit more intensity. I don't know if I could watch another person doing WWE in the pitch. If he subbed Garnacho in halftime and brought in Ahmad instead, we would have had way more chances. But I don't know what to do. Ruud and Ten Hag see Garnacho offer more than Rashford and Ahmad. I don't know what it is. Because I get Rashford. I understand that Ahmad and Garnacho are 2 different profiles of players. But I don't know what it is that people, like the managers, see in Garnacho that makes them pick him consistently now over the last 6 Premier League games. I don't know what they see in him to make him play every. Like, I get there's some games that require a profile or a player like Garnacho, but you can't tell me 6 games in a row you can't even switch it up once. Not even once can you switch it up for the starting lineup. And those 6 games in a row, you are getting the same kind of performance. That's really curious. That I'm really interested about that. Let me see what else you are saying. I'm still waiting for a miracle. What pees me off about Nacho is it's been happening consistently. Bad decision making every game, and no one holds him accountable. We need to see some big decisions on him now. What are we saying? Would you drop him midweek? Would we drop him in midweek? I think we play it on Thursday. I would drop him. The two wingers we have crossed the ball at 100 miles per hour. A striker has no chance. That's true. They put an absolute... You know what I realized as well? It's true. Garnacho today... Let me see his crosses. Is there anything on his crossing stats? Okay, 1 out of 2 crosses accuracy. He had accuracy for 1 out of 2. But I think it's like the manner of the crosses, because they either fizz it across, it's really high, and it goes beyond the far post, or it doesn't beat the first man. There's nothing that actually lands to the center of the box. That's one thing I realized with Manchester United's wingers. Nothing actually lands to the center of the box. And again, how could you expect your strikers to do anything if that's the case? How can you do that? How can you expect anything? Why is Ruud picking the same team as Erik ten Hag? Did you think that the team was the issue, or the tactics in the way that Erik ten Hag was approaching the games or setting up the team tactically? Because I don't think the starting 11 is the issue most of the time. Today's team, I think I would have started Ahmad, but I wasn't also mad about Garnacho starting. I think the starting 11 was probably United's one of their more stronger ones. I guess playing Rashford and Garnacho, I think from what I'm trying to understand is Ruud's thinking. And I'm thinking maybe he started them to be a bit more direct, to make runs in behind, Reece James, Malo Gusto, etc. Maybe that is why. Maybe that's why he started them. But I think after the first half, Ruud can see, just like the rest of us, these performances. And if they stay on, then I'm like, okay, that's weird. I'm not gonna lie, guys. When Rashford went off, I was shocked. Not because I thought he was poor, but I thought Garnacho is going to play another 90 minutes. Raw. Garnacho offers more because unlike Rashi, Garner has that academy hunger. He keeps going irrespective of how shit he's playing. He constantly finds himself in the right position, but he's wasteful. What do you mean by academy hunger? Are you talking about the same hunger that Rashford once had? Rashford's a 27-year-old. Unfortunately, he's not and he won't have that academy hunger anymore because he's proven in the first team. Now, for me, you want your best players to perform, you play them in their best positions. It's as simple as that. Guys, I genuinely think that's just maths. It's 1 + 1. You want your players to perform, you play them, or your best players. I would be annoyed if today they decided to start playing Bruno in DM, because he's not good to play. He's not a DM, so don't play him there. Play him in the 10. It's the same way like when Erik ten Hag used to play Bruno on the right. I don't know if you guys remember. There was a few games he played on the right. I hated it. I absolutely hated it because Bruno's not a right winger. Play him in the 10. You play your best players in their best positions, and you don't accommodate for other players. For me, it's as simple as that. Let's actually look at today's stats. You know me, guys. I love a good stat. 11 shots from Man United in comparison to 12 from Chelsea. XG, not that far off the two of the teams. Man United had 4 shots on target and Chelsea had 3. Man United missed 4 big chances and Chelsea missed 1, which I think was that header that hit the post. Statistically, yeah, not bad. But one thing that I realized though is Man United are getting a lot of shots in the box. That is, I prefer that rather than just shooting from everywhere. I mean, there's no guarantee that, actually there is a guarantee that at least once or twice in the game Bruno is going to take a shot from way out. That's guaranteed. But today 8 shots coming inside the box, 3 from outside of the box for Manchester United, and their passing was pretty decent. I would say 80% pass accuracy, 33% long ball accuracy, and 23% accurate crosses. Only 3 crosses into the box actually hit a target, i.e. Was accurate. 4 offsides, to 0. And this is funny because isn't it Nicholas Jackson that always gets trolled for being offside? I mean, he was barely in the game all day, but Manchester United 4 times offside, which I'm not gonna lie, one of them I didn't think it was offside. I think it was a Garnacho one. I think it was a Garnacho one that to me didn't look offside. But what did we think of Bruno's performance? You lot are laughing at the academy hunger thing. No, I get OJ's point. I definitely get OJ's point about the academy hunger. I just think, you know, unlike Garnacho, Rashford doesn't need to prove himself as an academy product because he's a lot more ahead in his career. And by the way, guys, if people are in the chat, I see people in the chat talking about Rashford at his age versus Garnacho. I already know who was the better player at that age. Like, I already know who was the better player at that age. But Bruno, for me, had a decent performance today as well. Like I said, there's no guarantee. There is a guarantee, sorry, in the game that Bruno will do some madness. 67% pass accuracy, 30 out of 45, which is actually not that great, in my opinion, for someone who has a lot of time on the board. 4 chances created for Manchester United, 1 big chance missed, 1 blocked shot, 72 touches in the game, and only 4 touches of that came in the opponent's box. Not even in their half, in the opponent's box. 1 for 7. And this is what I'm saying, yeah? This is what I'm saying. Having a 67% pass accuracy as a player that plays in this role is bad. But for you to have a 1 out of 7 accurate crosses and 0 out of 3 long ball accuracy, that's poor. I need to look at what Cole Palmer had because that's bad. Cole Palmer, by the way, 85% pass accuracy, 3 out of 5 long ball accuracy, and then 1 out of 3 accurate, 1 out of 8, accurate crosses. So in terms of accurate crosses, him and Bruno are the same, but he has a better pass completion and better accurate long balls. He's lucky he got the penalty. I'm happy for him to get the penalty, like I said, because you see how much that meant to him. You see how much that meant to him to get the goal. Even Casemiro running over to him, etc. But similarly to where I asked these questions about Højlund and Rashford, where are the goals coming from? Honestly, because nobody looks comfortable in front of goal. There's not, I think, any player that looks comfortable in front of goal right now. Not Bruno, not Rashford, not Højlund, not Zirkzee, not Garnacho. No one looks comfortable in front of goal. And I'm hoping that this is like just, you know, post manager sacking jitters, and you know, in possession will become a bit more tidier and we'll be able to dominate spells of possession, because I don't think United did that today either. Bruno wastes the ball too much. He does waste the ball. I mean, 60% pass accuracy, 30 out of 45. That kind of says it all. Bruno is becoming frustrating to watch nowadays. I can't defend him anymore, and I don't expect much from him as well. The thing is, guys, I don't see Bruno going anywhere. Not next season. They just gave him a big deal. I don't see him going anywhere. But I do think under Amorim's system, I feel like under Amorim's system, Bruno will benefit from having like right now, I feel like he covers too much space in the 10. Whereas in Amorim's system, if he's playing with 2 10s and he's got Ahmad to the right of him, potentially, you know, striker right in front of him, it's a lot more like, it's less space for him to cover. I think it'll be better for him. I genuinely think that would be better for him. It wasn't extended, it was just a pay rise. Oh, so it wasn't an extension. But even so, even if it's a pay rise, it's going to be difficult to offload that off your books. It will be very difficult. Now, I look at, like, again, did you guys see Dani Olmo's goal today for Barcelona? I look at Dani Olmo, I look at Florian Wirtz, I look at Jamal Musiala, I look at Cole Palmer, I look at 10s in Europe, and I'm thinking, yo, Bruno, look at your position mates. Look at your position mates. Bruno Portugal is way better than Bruno at United because he plays in central midfield, right? For Portugal, if I'm not wrong. Because you've got Bernardo Silva on the right. Yeah, I think he plays in like central midfield with a partner, which I would like to see him do at United, but I don't think we will. I don't think we will. He plays like an 8. Yeah, so yeah, he plays that. Yeah, he plays like an 8. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Bruno in midfield, which I think is more accommodating to him because Bruno's not got the pace. He's not quick. And also, I think my issue with Bruno a lot of the time, just in general, I feel like Bruno, he takes too many touches. You know, like, again, when he shouldn't, he takes too many touches. And when he should, he doesn't. He plays rocket ball. So for me, again, it's just about finding that balance, which is evidently, one of the more important stuff to do. Bruno is going to stick out in Amorim's system. Those double tens in Amorim's system need to be wizards. Technically, we play a formation that leaves our midfield open to play a guy in a position that doesn't have the talent/abilities for it. It's crazy. This is what I keep saying. We need to stop depending on Bruno as a 10 and move him into an 8 again. And then you have to, who are you going to put in the 10? Who are you going to drop out of midfield? Is Bruno going to do the defensive work that Casemiro is doing right now? Etc. etc. Like that is the questions that kind of comes up when you're trying to decide, where Bruno goes forward. Here you go. Crazy idea. Make Bruno defensive midfielder, pairing him with Ugarte. You're right, bro. That is a crazy idea. You absolutely are right. You said it yourself. Bruno with defensive. Do you think Bruno will win any ground duels as a DM? I might have to see Bruno as a DM just once. I might have to see Bruno as a DM just once in my lifetime so I can see what he's capable of doing, because that is unhinged behavior. Let's be real. That is absolutely unhinged behavior, playing Bruno as a DM. Bruno next to Ugarte as a box-to-box. Maybe, even as a box-to-box, I think is too much. I think even that might be too much. The hype around this Amorim system is scaring me. I don't think we have the right quality for that. Hopefully I'm proven wrong. The thing is with this Amorim system, guys, it's just predictions. Everyone, like myself as well, I'm guilty of this. We are all just trying to predict what can happen. No one's going to know who's going to play where, what position he's going to, what formation he's going to play, what style of play he's going to do. Nobody knows anything until he comes into the role and we actually see United play. Between then and now, it's just speculation, making predictions, etc., etc. So let that be of ease. Like, let that ease your mind, basically. That we're just literally predicting everything, and that's it. But yeah, listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you've just come through. Should we do player ratings? I don't really want to. I genuinely think player ratings are always just a waste of time. But Manchester United get a point, which is what is that's our first point against the top 6 this season. We lost to Spurs. Oh no, we got a point to Villa. It's crazy putting Villa in the quotation mark. They're not top 6 technically, but they are in the top 6 right now. But that's a point from Villa. We got a point at Chelsea. Who's the first top 6/8 team that we're actually going to get 3 points off this season? We got Arsenal in December 4th. We got Liverpool, I think January, like the first week of January. Yeah, we got City on like the 15th of December. That's long. That is all long. Mazza man of the match. Yeah, Mazraoui. I think we all agree collectively that Nazir Mazraoui was the man of the match. Listen, guys, tomorrow, of course, we've got Daily Dose of Mina. We're going to talk about Amorim, etc. But I actually when I was on Sky Sports yesterday, we did a thing where we were basically saying stay or go Man United players. And I've obviously seen my results circulating on Twitter. People are talking about it on Twitter saying, do you guys agree with this? So I might do a video tomorrow, a live stream, where the chat, myself, we're going to talk about the people that I rated, etc., etc., whether I said stay or go, and whether you lot agree, etc. I guess they call it like reaction, if you want to say that. So it'll be like a reaction video. But you guys know what it is. Have we hit 100 likes? Oh, we surpassed it. Absolutely lovely. Daily Dose, don't we get that from the pharmacy? Absolutely not. What pharmacy are you getting that from? Absolutely not. But you guys know what it is. Tomorrow, like I said, we'll have the Daily Dose of Mina. If you are new here, welcome to the community. Manchester United share a point with Chelsea. Some people might say it's a deserved point. Some people might say it's 2 points dropped. it is what it is. Straight after this stream as well, in about 15 or so minutes, we will have 5 in 5 that comes out. 5 things we learned in 5 minutes. So make sure you lot check that out. And like I said, I'll be back tomorrow here live, 4:30 p.m. UK time for the daily dose of Mina. If there's anything of interest, I will be live today, but there's nothing going to happen. So I won't be live today. But big up to everyone. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday evening, guys. I'm out. Peace.